You know, I recall, I think Steve was one of the original proponents of ethanol back when we were in the legislature together, and when we first heard about it, it was the best thing since sliced bread. And I think we've all learned a lot now, and from what I read, that the cost of producing ethanol, the energy cost, is greater than the energy that we get out of it. I also believe that we are in our embryonic stage as far as producing it in terms of its efficiency, and that we ought to roll with the punches for a while and see where we end up. I think that if it isn't the type of energy that we expected it to be, that at some point the corn growers aren't going to be able to sell it to the ethanol plants because the ethanol isn't going to be able to be sold. And I don't think the mandates can continue forever. But I think for the time being, we need to continue to roll with it to see if there's any possibility of producing it more efficiently. I also think that instead of using the corn, that you can use the byproducts of the corn and that way produce the same amount of energy. There's a lot of, in the Farm Bill, there was research grants. I'm sorry, Vicki, if you should stop up there. I can't see from my angle. Okay, thanks. In the Farm Bill, there's grants available to use the byproducts of corn plants in order to produce ethanol, and that way the corn could still be used for food and for other farmers who are feeding their cattle. So I think we need to look at it some more, but you know, at this point in time, I wouldn't want to pull the subsidies at the federal level. Of course, I only get to vote at the federal level, not the state level, so I'll leave that to some state legislators.
Ms. Baker, you've been involved in the state debate, of course. You're involved now in the federal debate. What's your position on that?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to say I think that it for right now, is a good transitional policy. We don't know how it will evolve. I agree with my colleague Ken Jacob that there will be ways, I think, as it evolves and technology improves, that we can find ways that it's more efficient. And there's even ways of recycling energy. For instance, there's a lot of heat that comes off of an ethanol plant that we can actually recycle. I think there's ways that we can actually make this a viable alternative because we must increase domestic production. We must become oil independent. And the other thing for our district, for the Congressional 9th District, it has created a lot of jobs and some opportunity for farmers to have communities that have a way of making ends meet. So I think that we move forward and we watch it evolve, perhaps more cellulosic technology, more switchgrass, that kind of thing. There's lots of things I think that we can do to make it worthwhile. Now, I would also like to say just one more thing about the last question, specifically on drilling. You know, I think there are some sensible places that we could drill. But I have to say that, you know, the public has gotten caught up in the fact that if we drill, prices of gas will come down. There's a lot of infrastructure we're going to have to build in order to do some more drilling. So I think we need to be prepared that gas prices may not come down just because we drill.
Mr. Bodie, you want to take a claim for scrap the mandate?
No, I'll definitely continue the program. And I foresee, though, revisiting the issue in the future, too. At this point in time, we need to continue with our program and not change our way there. As county commissioner, we've had several proposals in Marion County for ethanol plants and even for the biodiesel production too. So far they haven't come about yet. There's kind of a wait and see attitude too, what's going to take place in the future. But we do have two in the 9th Congressional District, one up in Macon and one in Ladonia producing ethanol. I believe it's a program that's helped everybody. You asked about the cattle farmers with the corn prices and feed production for other cattle and hogs. It's a tough situation there. It has increased the prices, and in return, the cattle and hog producers haven't seen an increase in their revenue as far as when they sell it. I think when Judy mentioned about looking at other ways of making ethanol, there could possibly be some types of hay in different productions of ethanol, and possibly that could help our cattle farmers where some of their ground is currently feeding cattle. Maybe they could produce something that would be a good market too. So we need to keep all options open if we're looking and try and help them too.
I might encourage you to tilt the microphone a little higher, that might help pick you up.
Okay, thanks.
And I think Mr. Dodd, you have the last word.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to take a little bit of an issue with presumption in your question, and that is that the increasing prices of food and corn is as a direct and sole result of the ethanol production, because I think what is the primary problem in dealing with the increasing costs that we have, or the economic policies that we've had in part at the federal level, running up these huge deficits. And these large deficits that we have had a significant impact on the value of our dollar. A lot of the price increases that we're seeing are as a result of the lower dollar value that we have against other currencies in the world. And that's currently impacting us on a number of different ways. We need to get our economic house in order, and we've got to start working toward eliminating this deficit spending at the federal level. Now, let me get to the real question, and that is, do I support ethanol? Ken is absolutely right. I was one of the individuals initially who supported working toward encouraging ethanol production because I thought it was important to Northeast Missouri in particular and to farmers in trying to work toward a value-added product that would make a difference and help farmers stay in business over the course of time. That's one of the reasons that part of what we had done initially was try to make sure that farmers were part of the investment that occurred there. Ethanol is a significant part of our energy solution, as well as soy diesel, because it is domestically produced. Every time we use ethanol, we are using less imported oil, and that should be one of our goals. The oil companies have been getting subsidies for years. I don't see a problem with us encouraging domestic production of energy that's grown right here on our farms. And we need to, one of the things we need to do, though, is to help ensure that the byproducts of ethanol production and other things are used as much as possible with our local farmers in their cattle operations and as feedstock instead of shipping it out. Thank you very much.